Hello everyone, RadLad here, and welcome back to yet another video. Today I'm here to give respect to an often overlooked aspect of Metroid games. The doors! I quite like doors myself and have been a big fan of them for years. Luckily for me, my favorite game series, Metroid, features loads of different doors for me to admire. So that's why I'm going to talk about the evolution of 2D Metroid doors. The first door we're going to look at is the beam door, often referred to as the blue door since it appears that color in most games in the series. It can be opened by the standard power green, meaning that no upgrades are needed for these. As a result, they are the most common doors found in the series. In the original Metroid for NES, blue doors are incredibly common throughout Zebes. In this original game, the only other doors were the red doors, which don't appear very frequently. Doors in this game as a whole have a weird quirk in which if you stand where the force field closes, Samus can glitch out of the map and go into the void. Also, in this game only, enemies can hit Samus even when you're going through doors, which is only a little infuriating. Blue doors make their triumphant return in Super Metroid after not being featured in Metroid 2. Now they no longer feature the whole breaking out of existence part. Luckily though, Samus is now invincible to attacks when going through doors. Blue doors are once again the most common types of doors in the game, albeit the game features two new types of doors, so that the game has slightly more variety than Metroid 1. Not only that, but now doors of all types can be located on the floors and ceilings, allowing for more epic door action. Metroid Fusion decides to be rebellious and give the functionality of beam doors to gray-colored hatches. They work in the same way they did in Super, although by accessing security terminals in the game, Samus unlocks different colored doors throughout the course of the game. And by doing so, those colored doors basically turn into more beam doors. Zero Mission's blue doors pretty much look identical to how they function in Super Metroid. They are noticeably more vibrant, however, although that's just a constant with Zero Mission's art direction in comparison to Super's. Although, on the Pirate Mothership area of the game, doors look slightly different, almost resembling the ones found in Fusion. It isn't just beam doors that get the new Mothership design, however. Power bombs, super missiles, and missile doors receive it as well. Samus Returns also decides to go against the flow and makes the beam doors yellow. Those bastards! Aside from that, however, they're basically the exact same as usual. However, some can only be opened from one side as the other side is blocked. Some will stay open forever after being hit from the vulnerable side once, and some are stuck as one-siders until the end of time. How sad. Next up is the missile door, sometimes referred to as the red door. This door can only be opened with the use of missiles. The missile door is the second most common type of door in the 2D series. Unlike the beam door, the missile door blast shields always appear as red, except in Metroid 2, which was released for the colorless Game Boy, so that one doesn't really count anyway. Also, when opened with a missile once, it will turn into a normal beam door in every game, Super Metroid and onward. As in the first two Metroid games, it just disappeared forever. In Metroid, the red doors are typically placed in front of rooms containing upgrades for Samus. They require 5 missiles to open, and unlike blue doors, red doors will actually be destroyed forever and become an empty doorway. Oddly, there exist 2 more types of missile doors in this game exclusively. A purple door appears in the room in which you fight Ridley that requires 10 missiles to open. A yellow variant of this door also appears once in Torian. Since Metroid 2 was on the black and white Game Boy, the color of the missile doors are white, or a shade of puke green on the original model. They are opened with 5 missiles once again, and then like Metroid 1, they just remain open forever as an empty doorway. Funny enough, missile doors are the only type of door featured in Metroid 2, which by definition makes Metroid 2 the worst game in the series, since the Metroid game's quality is based entirely on the amount of doors featured in it. Don't look at me, I'm just telling you the facts. Red doors work a little bit differently in Super Metroid than they do in Metroid 1. Upon shooting 5 missiles at the door, they become beam doors instead of disappearing for good. However, Super Metroid introduced the Super Missiles, which have about 5 times the strength of normal missiles and as a result can destroy red doors with only one shot. Definitely helps save on time, since shooting 5 individual missiles is kind of annoying. Red doors were slightly tweaked in Zero Mission. Instead of needing 5 missiles to destroy the blast shield, they now only require a single missile to break. Aside from that, they're pretty much the exact same as how they were in Super Metroid. They still turn into a beam door afterwards. Not much else to say, really. Once again, like the blue doors, they have a slightly different looking variant in the pirate mothership, but they still act the exact same. They just look odd. Like Zero Mission, Samus Return's red doors only require a single missile to disable. Samus Return's red shield appears to be projected directly in front of the normal beam door instead of replacing the beam door's shield like in the other games. You can tell because when you break the shield, the beam door you still have to open, whereas in the other games, after you break the shield, the door opens automatically, since the red shield is directly over top the normal blue blast shield. This pretty much goes for every other Samus Returns doors as well, so that's pretty cool. Next up is the Super Missile Door, also known as the Green Door since it always has a green blast shield protecting it. It can only be opened through the use of super missiles, and as a result they are far less common than that of blue and red doors. However, like red doors, they change into beam doors after being opened once with a super missile. In Super Metroid, these doors require 1 super missile to destroy. They are pretty scarce in the game and only bar entry from a handful of rooms. Notably, one of these rooms appears in the room in which the Spore Spawn boss is fought. Every other boss in the game has a metal door blocking the exit except for this guy. Because of this, you can actually escape the room and leave the boss early. The only way to do it is by using the Mach Ball glitch to get super missiles early, which essentially lets you run at full speed while in Morph Ball form. However, it is not recommended that you leave Spore Spawn's arena in the middle of the fight, because when you come back in, he'll have all his health regenerated, which is, not good. Green doors are even less frequently found in Zero Mission than in Super, since Samus does not get the upgrade for a much longer period of time compared to the former. Aside from that, they're pretty much identical to how they are in Super, and once again, there's a different variant in the pirate mothership that looks slightly different. Not much to add, really. Samus Returns green doors work the exact same way as the other 2 games. However, they typically prevent access to rooms with super missile expansions and little else in this particular game. Like the missile doors, instead of replacing the beam door shield with a different color, this game blatantly displays a green shield covering the beam door instead. Power bomb doors, sometimes called the yellow door. This door's yellow blast shields can only be destroyed by exploding a power bomb near it. These doors are even more uncommon than super missile doors, making them the rarest standard door in all of the games. Just like missile and super missile doors, they turn to beam doors after being opened once. In Super Metroid, power bomb doors are pretty self-explanatory. Plant a power bomb next to it, it blows the thing up, and it becomes a normal beam door. Not really much else to add. In Zero Mission, power bomb doors work the exact same as they do in Super. They're even more infrequent than the ones in Super, which is kind of impressive, mainly because they're the last upgrades obtained in the game, so makes sense. And obviously, I don't even think I really need to mention it again, but power bomb doors also look slightly different in the pirate mothership like every other type of door. Samus Returns, the power bombs work the same way as they do in the other 2 games. You blow it up, it becomes a normal door. However, like the missile and super missile doors, Samus Returns has a very blatant yellow shield projecting in front of the normal beam door, as opposed to just replacing the beam shield like in the other 2D games. Also, like the super missile doors in this particular game, a vast majority of the yellow doors found simply block access to rooms in which more power bomb expansions are held. Samus Returns introduces an all-new type of door, called the Charge Door. It's essentially just a normal power beam door, however, the only way to open it is to use a fully charged power beam blast. After doing this once, it will remain open forever and be a normal beam door. The locked door is known by many names. Sometimes it's the metal door, and sometimes it's the gray door. These doors cannot be opened with any of Samus's weapons. Rather, these doors open only under special conditions, namely after killing every enemy in the room, after beating a boss in a boss room, that type of stuff. After completing said condition, these doors will start flashing or the barrier over it will disappear, indicating that you can open it. Super Metroid's locked doors are found most commonly in boss rooms and will walk up to prevent Samus from leaving in the middle of a fight. Upon defeating the boss, the doors will start flashing, indicating that you can open them. Some rooms in the game also lock up and force Samus to fight all of the enemies in a room before she can move on. This is most notable in the areas like the wrecked ship and Lower Norfair with the two back-flipping golden pirates, which sounds ridiculous, but I mean there's no real other way to explain what they're like because they're weird enemies. More interestingly though, exclusive to this game, certain rooms are completely inaccessible with metal doors, and only open once the area's boss is defeated, such as the room that contains the plasma beam upgrade in Meridia, which only opens after beating the boss of the area, who is Dragon. Metroid Fusion features two doors very similar to the metal doors. One appears a purple color and appears exclusively in the BSL's navigation rooms. The BSL is the Biological Space Laboratory, which is where Metroid Fusion takes place, just for context. Anyway, the purple doors prevent Samus from moving on until she talks to the ship's computer and receives her next orders. A locked door, more in line with Super Metroid, is a gray type of that same purple door that has the same design that appears in boss rooms to stop Samus from leaving the fight early. After the boss is killed, the door will start flashing rainbow, which means that you can open it and leave. Zero Mission strikes back again with having doors that bring nothing new to the table. They have the same function, and look at the ones from Super, although this time they only really appear in boss rooms. And like that, you just fill up the boss with missiles, you kill them, you can open the door, and move on. However, maybe I spoke too soon about Zero Mission not bringing anything new, because this game features an all-new kind of locking door. This type is found exclusively in the pirate mothership, and for the sake of this video, I'll refer to it as alarm door. And even then, it's not really that much of a door in the same degree as all the other ones mentioned before, and it's basically just a gray gate with some flashing lights. But when the hell else am I going to talk about it? This door blocks Samus from getting anywhere if she gets spotted by space pirates on the mothership. They stay up until Samus has left the room or has killed all the attacking pirates. For Samus Returns, I technically already talked about the metal doors that appear in the game. Like mentioned before, one side of the door is a normal beam door that acts as you would expect, and the other side is a metal door, meaning you can only open these doors from one side. This game still has a counterpart to the more traditional type of metal doors found in the other games, however. In boss rooms, when Samus enters, the door behind her will turn red and cannot be opened until the boss is slain. When it turns red, the door itself will turn a red color so as not to be confused with the game's missile doors, which have a red force field in front of them. For our next category of doors, we have the door-blocking enemies. Some enemies love doors even more than I do. I know that's pretty insane, but I can assure you it's true. They attach themselves to the doors and live there. Man, do I envy them. Although this makes them a great inconvenience to Samus. These enemies typically require specific weaponry in order to remove, and don't ever respawn after being killed. First of the bunch is Ghidoras. Ghidoras always appear on the doors leading into boss rooms. Their weak point is their eye that opens when attempting to attack Samus with their plasma wave attack, or in some cases, a 3-homing plasma ball attack. These enemies appear in Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, and Metroid Zero Mission. In Super Metroid, 5 Ghidoras make an appearance, and they are located in front of the game's 4 major bosses, being Kraid, Phantoon, Dragon, and Ridley. And the 5th one is in front of the final boss, being Mother Brain. In this game, all Ghidoras require exactly 3 missiles, or 1 super missile, to the eye to take out. In this game only, Ghidoras are actually immune to the charge beam, and will actually reflect the charge back at Samus, and it'll take the characteristics of whatever the beam fired. So, yeah, using a charge beam only ends in destruction for Samus. So yeah, just stick with missiles. Plus, you'll kill it quicker with missiles anyway, so why would you use the charge beam anyway? Ghidoras return in Metroid Fusion and are far more powerful and way more frequent due to the influence of the X-parasites that mutated them. Because of the X-parasite mutation, they appear pink in this game rather than their yellowish-orange color in Super Metroid, and they are way bigger, and honestly look pretty deformed. Just like in Super Metroid, these guys only appear on doors leading up to boss rooms. They can fire up to 4 plasma waves at a time, and when doing so will not show their pupil, meaning that they cannot be damaged. Ghidoras will always drop a red X in this game, which the red X parasite will replenish a large amount of energy and missiles to Samus. Zero Mission's Ghidoras are much more in line with Super's variants, sharing a similar color and lacking the no-pupiled eye of Fusion's version. Notably, the one in front of Kraid's room only requires 1 missile to kill, making it the weakest Ghidorah fought by Samus, although the Ghidoras found in the game retain their usual health points. It's just that one in front of Kraid that decides to be a bit weird. Stupid Ghidorah, only dying in 1 hit. What a loser. The next type of door blocking enemy we have are Gearons. Gearons aren't physically latched onto doors, however they always appear directly in front of doors, so I'll count them anyway, since they're basically the same thing. These guys only appear in Metroid Fusion and appear in 3 different varieties, none of which can actually attack Samus at all. They just exist solely to block her from going places. Each variety requires a more powerful weapon to destroy it, and encountering a new type of Goron. They basically act as this game's version of the Missile, Super Missile, and Power Bomb doors. The old ones disappear and are instead replaced with the new ones when they are found. It is implied that the X are mutating the creature even further in order to stop Samus in her tracks. The green ones are weak to missiles, the purple ones are weak to super missiles, and the teal ones are weak to power bombs. The green and purple varieties are similar in size, whereas the teal one is significantly larger with a more apparent central membrane. And like as I mentioned before, anytime you encounter a new level of the Garon, it will replace the old one. So if you encounter a purple one, you'll no longer see the green ones, and if you encounter a teal one, you'll no longer see the purple or green ones. Next up is the Gigadora, which are only found in Metroid Samus Returns and aren't able to attack Samus directly. They are purple in color and are not affected by any of Samus' weapons, with the exception of the Spacer Beam. The creature can only be killed if its 3 eyes are hit at the same exact time, which the Spacer Beam just so happens to grant the ability to fire 3 beams at once. Pretty convenient if you ask me. The Grindcore, another type of door blocking enemy found in Samus Returns, is also unable to attack Samus, very much like the Gigadora. Its appearance is that of a green, 6-legged parasite that seems to be eating the door. Obviously, we can't have this bugger messing up any doors on my watch because that's just pretty lame. Unfortunately, these parasites can only be defeated with the plasma beam or power bombs, which are some of the last upgrades Samus obtains in the game. So unfortunately, you'll have to wait quite a long time in order to save those poor doors. Finally, we have the third and final new door-blocking enemy introduced in Samus Returns, the Terramarga. These pink-colored annoyances are able to hold up a wall that protects them. This wall is also indestructible. If you see the pattern at this point, only one specific beam weapon is able to defeat this thing. The Wave Beam upgrade is able to shoot through walls, including the Terramargas. And luckily, unlike the other 2 guys, you get the Wave Beam way earlier than the Spacer Beam and Plasma Beam, so you'll be able to kill these guys and get them out of the way of the door. Finally, we have Metroid Fusion's security hatches. Metroid Fusion is very different from the other 2D Metroid games in terms of its doors. Doors are no longer open depending on Samus's weapons. As mentioned before, the typical missile, super missile, and power bomb doors are decided by the new grindcore enemies. The doors are now relegated to unlocking them by finding security terminals throughout the BSL station, the only exceptions being the previously mentioned gray and purple hatches. After activating a specific terminal, the colored hatches will effectively act as gray hatches. The first type of security door are the blue doors. They are the lowest level security doors and therefore are the first ones that are able to be unlocked. They are opened in the security station located in Sector 2 of the BSL station. Because of this, these doors are predominantly found in this sector, although there are a few other blue doors located in other parts of the station, namely in the main deck, which blocks access to Sectors 3 and 4. Green doors are the secondary security doors, which are unlocked in the terminal located in Sector 3. Like the blue hatches, this one blocks access to sectors in the main deck, this time being Sectors 5 and 6. The yellow security door's unlocked terminal is located in Sector 5. Unlike the previous types of doors, these ones don't block access to other sectors within the BSL, since you've already unlocked every sector up to that point. In addition, these doors are easily the least common among the security hatches because they exclusively appear in Sector 5 and absolutely nowhere else. Finally, we have the red security doors. The terminal for these things are found in the watery depths of Sector 4. For every other door, you actually had to receive permission from the Galactic Federation in order to use the terminals. However, by the time you activate the red terminal, the ship's power has been out for probably an hour, meaning that Samus no longer has to abide by the Federation's rules, since the Federation isn't there anymore. Ha! You thought I was done? I'm never done when it comes to doors. We still have some, as in one, miscellaneous door to look at. Yeah, we have a bonus door. This bonus door is the Seri Station door found exclusively in Super Metroid. The first place Samus explores in Super Metroid is the Seri's Research Station, which happens to feature an exclusive door. The most notable thing about this door is that it opens automatically when Samus gets near it. What incredibly advanced technology! You no longer have to shoot the door to open it. This is truly mind-blowing. Well, there we go. We spent approximately, I don't know, like 25 minutes. I haven't edited this together yet by the time I've recorded this, so how the hell am I supposed to know? Talking about the doors of 2D Metroid. I hope I gave the respect and attention that this topic deserved. If I didn't, that's fine, because I still have to go over the doors of the 3D Metroid games, and that video will likely be even longer. So get ready for some more epic door action, but in 3D!